On Monday, if you remember, we were talking about stress transformation. Sometimes it's difficult for students to visualize the concept of stress transformation. When we want to transform stress from one axis to another, we need to visualize how that rotation would affect these stresses. So assume that this is a plate and we are going to rotate this. I want to know if how stresses are changing from normal stress to shear stress and vice versa. So after the class, I thought that it might be cool if we have a device that has a monitor and also a sensor that measures the rotation. So once we rotate the screen, it would detect the amount of rotation and calculate stresses accordingly. So I thought that, okay, we can possibly use Raspberry Pi as a brain of the system and also one sensor for rotation measurement. So that could be a possible idea. But later on, I thought that all the cell phones that we are currently using, they have sensor inside the cell phone that is capable of measuring the orientation. So what if we use a cell phone? And I set a challenge for myself to see if we can do that in one day. So I worked on the idea and developed something that is helping us to understand how stress transformation works by rotating the elements. Here, we can enter the value of stresses. So here, maybe I just assume 150. Maybe I will just use negative 50 here. And shear stress is 20, and I'm going to start this. So this one shows the stresses on the system. And at the bottom, you can see that it is showing the principal stresses and also stress after rotation. So if I rotate this, it would detect the amount of rotation and shows how stresses are changing from one to another. So this is a sort of visualization for us to help us how stresses are changing when I rotate the element. So if you're interested about this, I can share a link with you so you can play with that. It could be also used for different problems. If you want to determine stresses at a certain angle, we can just enter the number in, rotate our devices, and see how much our stress is on that.